Okay. And it's my pleasure to welcome the creator of Together Apart, Mr. Chris Kazi.
Yes. Thank you, Dunny.
Of course.
Love, I got it from here. All right, thank y'all for coming out. The fact that you're here says a lot about you, says that you are somebody that invests in yourself, right? Because wherever you put your time is what it shows you where your values are. Says that you're somebody that cares about relationships and is willing to listen to the other side and hear what the brothers have to say. So my commitment tonight is that everybody that is here actually gets something from tonight. All right. So I'll check in throughout the night to make sure that that commitment is being fulfilled. But I want this is your time. So that being that you are here, oh, that's good. Yes, that's great. Now we can see each other. Hi. Everybody say hi, Kazi. Yeah, now we're all together. All right. And so, yes, that is my commitment. So I'm going to come back throughout the night to check in on you. But what I want to first do, I want to first kind of just tell you why we're here. Let me get my little clicker happening here. That's me. Hi. So why are we here? There's a guy by the name of Miles Monroe. Anybody know who Miles Monroe is? Yeah. Miles Monroe, yes? Yeah. So he has a quote that I love. He says, if the purpose of a thing is unknown, abuse is sure to follow. So before we even get into this conversation, I want to make sure that we get our hearts in the right place, right? And know where. The quote is, if the purpose of a thing is unknown, abuse is sure to follow. So, get the author of Miles Monroe. Miles Monroe, he rest in peace. He passed away 2 years ago now. Him and his wife actually in a car crash. Meaning a plane crash. But he changed a lot of lives. If you didn't know who Miles Monroe is, definitely Google him. He will empower your life. Definitely. Okay, so why are we here? It all started in a little island called Nassau in the Bahamas. Anybody been to Bahamas before? Yeah. All right, so that's my hometown. And my mom had a beautiful baby boy. And if I do say so myself. And but she was going through a rough time, and my pops wasn't really trying to do right by her at the time, and so she left me with a friend, and I ended up in the foster care system in the Bahamas. She came to America, and it was a journey living through foster care, orphanages, but I ended up in a foster home for about 9 years, and that family that I was with really touched my life in a powerful way. And I feel like, my purpose, part of my purpose, is to pay back what she did for me. And I'll get into that in a little bit. So anyway, at 14 years old, I had to leave the family to go to another orphanage. But while I was there, I met a counselor. And that counselor and I tracked down my biological mother, and I came to America. I'm going to connect it, all right? I know it's like, well, how do we get to the Bahamas? What does that have to do with here? But I'll make it all connect. So when I came to America to reunite with my biological mother, it didn't really work out. And so I ended up in the streets of Brooklyn. And you know what they say, the devil find works for idle hands. And so I kind of found myself here, there, and everywhere. But where I found refuge was in a theater group. And in that theater group, I met the leader of it. Her name is Elaine Robeson, another angel of mine. She got me into the arts. And the arts, and which most of us know, is a place of healing. It's a place that you can express yourself and things that you're going through, and that became an outlet. I ended up at a high school for performing arts in Times Square called Public School Repertory Company. At that school, I took a class taught by a guy by the name of Scott Rosenberg. Scott Rosenberg was just a teacher who we thought was, he was cool. He would bring different artists. He would bring Spike Lee and Jonathan Demme. And so we got to learn about creating films through this class. And he and I developed a relationship. He was teaching something called a montage sequence. Anybody know what a montage sequence is? Which is a long period of time condensed into a short period of time, but he taught it through a CD by Biggie Smalls, the Notorious B.I.G. And his album, you remember that album, the first album, how it started? That was a montage sequence where you went through his life really quickly. And I was like, wow, that was brilliant. What if more teachers would teach the way that kids learn? things that they were into. And he said, well, what would that look like? And so he encouraged me to write my ideas down. So I started writing the ideas down. What would the school look like, and what would the program look like? And by the time as I graduated, I had a program. Come to find out, Scott was like a gazillionaire, and he wanted to not just put his money into a school. He wanted to really put his time and energy into a school, because where you put your time shows what your values are. So he and I developed a relationship from there, and he helped me to launch this program called the Hip Hop Project. And then actually, fast forward ahead, I met Russell Simmons, who was a great supporter of it, Jay-Z, Queen Latifah, Mona Scott. A lot of the people in the music industry came in to teach classes to the kids the same way that Scott brought in people in the industry to teach us about the business. Anyway, the program was so successful, Bruce Willis got involved, and he donated a $100,000 studio and actually came down as well to the program. And once he heard my story, he and Queen Latifah partnered together to create a film called the Hip Hop Project. I don't know if any of y'all seen it. We had a national release, but you could also just go to Netflix. It's on Netflix, and it kind of tell the story that I'm telling you. But the highlight of the film was when I went back to sit down with my mother and kind of get an understanding of what she went through in her life. Because I was doing a lot of work on myself, I realized that it's hard to be compassionate for somebody that hurts you. And so as I was able to do my own healing, then I was able to hear her story and I grew a heart for women, to understand what women go through. As much as I'm pro-man, some of the things that we do really put our families in a bad situation, right? So I started thinking about what could I do to help. So as I traveled with the film, we traveled city to city with the film, and whenever we would show the film, I would come out and do a conversation with the audience. And one thing we kept hearing were the themes in the film connected for a lot of people. And so as we would listen to everybody's story, as they say, well, hey, anybody from the West Indies in here? In the West Indies, a lot of parents leave their kids behind to go start a life, but the kids don't always know. And so there are a lot of issues that you have a lot of men who never been hugged by their mom. Like I never had a hug. My mom is not the hugging type, right? And so when I got into a relationship, that affected me. And so I said, well, you know what? As I was doing my own healing, I'm discovering these things about myself. What can I do for others to create spaces for them to heal as well? So I just started inviting people over to my house. Not thinking about a business, just thinking about what difference could I make. Sometimes God puts you through a process to give you a purpose. And in your greatest pain comes your ministry, so to speak, or the work that you're supposed to do. So that's when Together Apart was born. So Together Apart is a matchmaking and a relationship coaching agency. I started in 2009. And back then what I did was, like I said, it was just people coming together to talk. But as I started to really listen to a lot of the issues that were there, I started realizing it was the way we enter relationships. Because when we first go in, it's a lot of passion, right? It's a lot of passion. But when things go wrong, we always look back and say, man, I wish I knew this before. There's no classes they teach that are taught in school on how to date or how to be in a relationship or how to treat a woman or how to treat a man. A lot of it is trial and error. Those are like my two main teachers. But I think it's all of our duty is to make life easier for those that come behind us. So with Together Apart, you can visit togetherapart.us. My mission is to make sure that kids don't have to go through the things that I went through. And the way I'm doing that is to make sure that when we enter in relationships, men and women, we enter whole or holistic development. That's a short word is whole. That's the root word. And what that means to be whole is that mentally, physically, spiritually, that we enter in a relationship as whole people. You'll always have a better relationship as a whole person. Luckily, today my wife is here. I always tell her if I met her 5 years earlier, it probably wouldn't have worked out because I was a different man. But that's my mission, right? That's my mission, and that's why we're here. So, I'm always doing events around LA. After going to Dunny's event, I was like, I got to connect with Dunny. she has access to the people that are here. So since we moved here 3 years ago from New York City, and LA is a different town. Would you agree? Let's talk a little bit about that. So let's talk about dating in LA real quick. Dating in LA. So let's make a sentence. So this is fun. This is fun. Y'all gonna like this. We're gonna make a sentence. Men in LA are scary. Come on, say them all. Just say crazy, flaky. What else? Confused, untrustworthy. Huh? Childish. Okay. Feminine. Okay. All right. Yeah. Lazy and entitled. Visual. Visual. Very visual. Okay. Superficial. Okay. Connect that with the visual. Okay. All right, so let me try so you can put this together. So men in LA can be flaky, untrustworthy, kind of superficial. Take out the kinda. Okay. Superficial. Gold diggers. Anti-black. Okay. All right. Anti-black. Well, you know what? Gotcha. Sound like we got a lot of stories inside this room. All right. Let me just do a check real quick. Even though, all right, let's say if you're under 21, anybody in here is under 21? All right, how about under 30? Under 30? Under 30, raise your hand if you're under 30. Okay. Under 35? Okay. So we know, okay. Under 40. 35, 36 to 40. 36 to 40? Okay. And everybody else? Everybody else? And above? Okay, so we got a nice mix. We got a nice mix. You never could tell though. You know, everybody looks so young. But I guess it's the sun, it's the weather here. Okay, how many college graduates? College graduates here? Everybody, oh, okay. Go ahead, get your education. All right. Bachelor. Everybody. Oh, let's see. Bachelors. Okay. Anybody master? I got my masters. Where'd you go to school, girl? Student loans. Student loans. Gotcha. Well, any PhDs in the house? Any PhDs? Okay. You still in school, probably. Gotcha. All right. So we got a very now. How many people in here are single? Let's see that. Single. Okay. In a relationship right now? How many people in a relationship? We coming there. Murd. Any Murd? Murd. We got a couple Murd in here. And then it's complicated. How many is it's complicated? We got two. Two is complicated. How many people have been in love before? How about that? What about have their heart broken? Okay, gotcha. All right, so. Oh, how many? I hate men. I don't like them. I don't like them. How about I don't like them? Okay, we got 2, 3, and I don't like them. So I would say every time I've done this event, there is a question on a woman's heart. And that question comes from either relationships that you've been in, and maybe something, there wasn't closure. There was something he did, maybe he ghosted you, maybe the relationship closed out, y'all didn't really get that final conversation, and there's a question of why he did that, or how did I come across? Or you might be presently dating somebody right here in LA that's, you know, flaky, visual, untrustworthy, and you're trying to figure some stuff out, and there's a question on your heart. Or you're just getting back out there, or you're not dating at all, and you're trying to understand this species called man, and you got a question on your heart. All right? So whatever that question is, I want you to start thinking about that question. I want you to think about asking that question. All right? So when I first started this work, I went out in the streets of New York City, And I asked, what is the biggest challenge in a relationship? Because I'm serious. Like, my whole life, my wife can attest to this. This is all I think about morning, noon, and night. All right? So this is the biggest question. But let me check the room real quick. What do y'all say it is? What's the biggest challenge in a relationship? Communicate. Okay. Trust. Expectations. Hallelujah. Okay, got you. Standards. Understanding. Okay. Understanding. Consistency. Understanding. Communication. Respect. Equality is a big challenge in a relationship. Okay, equality. All right. Values, having the same goals. Okay. Well, let's see what they said on the other side of the country. What is the biggest challenge in relationships?
Communication.
Communication.
It's communication.
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 It's communication.
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 Communicate with each other.
Consistent communication.
Like sitting there long enough to listen to what the other person got to say,
Men not understanding women enough,
to hear them out. Communication.
and women not understanding the man enough.
Honest communication.
It's not always what you say, but how you say it.
He doesn't know, not me.
Nah, she. Both. Both.
I think on both ends, actually. It's difficult to communicate sometimes.
So people talk in different frequencies, yo.
It's trying to read your woman's mind. That's the hard part right there.
Oh, it's all about matching frequencies and whatnot.
Same thing with a man. Same thing with a man. You have to be a mind reader with a man too.
It was on their mind. People not mind readers.
Sometimes we just don't see eye to eye.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, it's all about just matching straight thought.
Give hints, and giving the hints, the guy doesn't get the hint right away.
How do we deal with that? We try to talk about it. We try to nip it in the bud as early as we can.
Whether it's a man and a woman or just a relationship altogether, if you're not communicating,
Always nagging you.
and if the communication lines aren't open, then the relationship is not going to grow.
So we have one thing in our minds, and then they just don't understand what we want.
I don't want to hit. Just be direct.
Right, would it help if you told him?
No.
See, I'm done. I'm gone. That's the problem right there. Help me.
No, the problem is people would accept the
I'm gonna stop it right there. Because he said, help me. He said, help me. That was my favorite part. He said, help me. I know that just breezed by, but that really hit me. He said, help me.
Does he want help though?
He does. He does. He does. You'd be surprised. I mean, men, I focus really more on men, right? In our agency, men are clients and women are members. And so the difference is that I focus more on men because men really need more work, but you got to approach men differently. I think if I did an event, an all-female panel and an all-male audience, probably wouldn't sell a ticket. Not one ticket. So you got to approach men differently, but men need a lot of work. You know, it's beautiful. One thing I wrote an article for Essence called Why I Love Black Women and Married One. And one thing that I have to acknowledge to the ladies that y'all are willing to do the work. You know, y'all are willing to, get together and say, girl, this is what happened, but what you need to do, I went to this first, and y'all share information in that way. When fellas get together, we don't talk like that. Usually I'll spark the conversation, and then they may pull me to the side of your car, so this is what's going on, me and my girl, da-da-da-da-da, That da-da-da-da means just blah, 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 blah. But, men approach things differently. But men need a lot of help. Would y'all agree? Yes. Okay. This is the interesting side over here. So let's talk about communication. What would you say women contribute to communication being the biggest challenge? They contribute to it being the biggest challenge. They contribute emotional intelligence. Okay.
One action and not understand the implications emotionally.
Okay. You got deep on me. Synapses. All right. So we're gonna go one right here. Actually, just so that I get you on the mic, cause. Oh yes. Could you help me out?
I think that women we don't argue things in the moment. So we'll hold on to things, and by the time we explain it to a man, then we have 5 other things that have contributed to this one argument, and a man cannot wrap his mind around what he did 2 months ago when you told him to take the trash out and you didn't remember. Like, that's too far. Men have to deal in the moment, and like it kind of relates to what Mira was saying, in that we're just, it's the bigger picture. It's not that you didn't take out the trash, it's that you don't care about my feelings, and you know? So that's part of it.
Gotcha. That's good. What else would y'all say that women contribute? Somebody in the back of you. Shit. All right.
I was going to say that we are always like on the victim aspect. We're victimized.
Yeah, what you did to me. When you
Yeah,
did
what
that,
you did to me, or what, not even what they did to you, maybe what somebody did to you 10 years ago, the baggage.
Gotcha.
So that's bringing the baggage
Gotcha.
into a relationship.
Bringing in baggage. Okay. Got you.
I think sometimes that women, we contribute a lot more words to a conversation.
Yeah.
And in addition to contributing those words, we've learned to read what we're saying, not just the words.
Hold on.
And men are missing
Explain that.
So if I'm talking to my girlfriend about something, I don't have to be crying for her to know how much I'm hurting. Because she picks up on those nonverbal communication skills that women have. And we teach them to children. We teach them to our daughters. We don't necessarily teach them to our sons. I think it's possible to learn them. But we contribute a lot more words, and we can read what else is going on without having to say it. And I think sometimes when we communicate with men, we expect them to be able to do that. Somebody's talking, I mean, have you ever been having such a good conversation with a man that you're like, girl? And then you realize it's not one of your girlfriends? He's not feeling the same way you are.
Oh, no, that's good. So, men not seeing the bigger picture. There's too much emotion and details coming at one time. What did she say? She said victim mode, right? Staying in victim mode. And then the fact that men can't communicate at the same level or the amount of words that a woman communicate. Even I had to tell some of the panelists that, you know, I asked them, I say, well, how'd you meet your wife? He said, you know, met at a club, and then I got her phone number, and then, you know, we've been together. I was like, no, like, more details. So it's important to have more details. So there's a disconnect partly because of that. So let's see if we can round that into one sentence. Could we say that, oh, matter of fact, I got a better question. What would you, the ladies say that men say is the biggest challenge when trying to communicate with a woman? We don't what?
We don't let them talk, and so we don't allow them the opportunity to be vulnerable.
Okay.
Pass the mic around.
Gotcha. Guys, they don't feel that they can talk. They don't feel like they can express themselves. Pass the mic right. Oh, yeah, you go, and I'm gonna come around.
I think they say that we don't listen and that we accuse them a lot instead of like giving them a chance to explain themselves.
Okay, I hear that a lot. That men feel like, listen, she's not gonna hear me anyway, so why even bother? Somebody over here. There you go.
We expect them to know how we feel.
Oh, mind readers. Like she said, supposed to be mind readers.
Pass the mic back.
All right, so while they go over there, I'm gonna grab one. So mind readers, they feel that women don't listen, or they don't get a chance to speak. Somebody over here.
Like they were talking about in the video about dropping hints. You're like, well, why didn't he get it? How come he's not understanding? Like everyone's like, why? I told him that I wanted a blue purse, but not exactly. But you know.
Gotcha. So we're not reading between the lines. We're not empathetic, and then we're not telepathic as well. So, you know, that could probably help. All right. So I'm gonna round it up. I'm gonna round it up real quick, just in the interest of time. More often than not, when I do this survey, it's said that men would say that women don't listen enough. And so it's just like, you know, let me just tell her what she wants to hear. Or if I tell her what my truth is, she's gonna not take what I'm saying as what I said, so why bother? So let me tell her what she wants to hear. And so that's what men would say, that women don't listen enough. All right? All right, so let's flip it on the other side. What would you say that men contribute to communication being difficult? Just in the interest of time, just shout them out real quick. Lie. Oh, this whole row just said lies. Lies. They lie. They're not compassionate. All right, not compassionate. Ruthless. Yeah, they don't want to get deep. It's like, let's keep it real surface. Let's touch the surface. But if you want to get deep, oh, we need to talk, it's just too much. It's too much. They check out. Yes? They don't engage. Okay. That sounds like there's a story behind it. Well, here's the opportunity of tonight. Here's the opportunity of tonight. The opportunity of tonight is that women can practice their listening at a higher level. All right? And so that's what I'm going to call on you to do that. Can we make an agreement that you're going to practice your listening? Because if you don't, what you will find is they may come out guns a-blazing in the first round, but based on your reaction, you'll start to see the answers totally change. Now, that does a disservice to you because, all right, let me ask you this. Most guys would say you can't tell a woman the truth because she can't handle the truth. Do you agree or disagree? How many people agree? Let's do a poll. Agree. All right, hands down. How many people disagree? Listen, even if it hurts my feelings, tell me the truth. So that's like 30% say tell me the truth, yes? Let me put your hand up high. If you say tell me the truth. Oh, hey. So if you can't handle it, why would they tell you the truth then? Come on, no.
So the way I understood the question was that most men will say that women cannot handle the truth, and that's why I assume we all raise our hands, because most men think we can't handle the truth. However, as a woman, no, we can handle the truth, and we prefer that they tell us the truth.
Yes?
Yes. Yes.
How many people say no? Say no.
So.
No, nobody said so. Everybody agreed that you would rather the truth, yes?
Yes.
All right, I just want to be sure. I want to be sure. I want to be sure because if like I said, if I was to talk to a group of guys, they would say otherwise. So that's the power of tonight. You have the opportunity to hear the truth, but I promise you, when you hear the truth, it might not feel good. And based on your response, matter of fact, let me show you something real quick. I know he's not standing, but just listen to this particular part, okay?
Now, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but my question is, why do men lie so much? I mean, y'all know I ain't lying.
This is why men lie. Because we are afraid of your reaction to the truth.
Right.
That's why we lie. Lying can be a good thing because lying spares people's feelings. Let's go over a couple of things. We can't really tell you how you look in them pants. We found out that at 56, I rediscovered you can't remind a woman that she half a century old. You can't talk about how much food a woman eats. You can't bring up her shoe size at the wrong time. You can't say nothing crazy about her hairstyle. We gotta love every shade of new polish you put on and try. So we got to like all that. We have to lie. What you don't want is us telling you, do I look fat? Well, baby, Dan, what you think? Do you know the hell that happens in our life right there? So no, you don't look fat to us. We love you just the way you are. That's what you want to hear? We got it for you all day long.
All right, only reason I played this is because I've done this event before, especially after a couple of drinks, and the responses in the room have changed the responses in front of the room, all right? So I'm serious, y'all. I really want you to practice creating a safe space. You may not like what is said, but you can make better decisions when you know the truth. Agreed? Agreed. So do I have your commitment? Yes. Okay. True, true. I think for a date. Okay. Mm-hmm. True. Okay.
I will never tell a man that he's fat. We lie in the same way. But
Okay.
what we do expect is to never ever be lied to about the things that we deserve to know.
Like.
We deserve to get the choice about whether or not
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I think that is, it's like, it's reducing us to very high, superficial
Gotcha. I got you. No, now here's the thing, and she's going deep, so I'll go deep with you. What I got you. So let's not let the messenger called Steve Harvey and how we might feel about him take us off course, right? So we're gonna go deep. So let's go deep. You know, most people in this room are descendants of slaves, right? There's a book by Dr. Joy Leary. It's called Post-Traumatic Slavery Syndrome. Very powerful book. But in the book, she talks about that there's a lot of healing that we have to do, right? And so events like these, though we don't call it a healing circle, there's an opportunity for us to express. We're going to hit nerves and things that need to be expressed. That being said, even though I'm asking you to listen, there will be opportunities for you to express. But I'm just asking during the time, because I know men, I know how they will change, how they're going to express themselves. So I just wanted to prep us before we go in, all right? So I ain't going to take too much time talking, but I'm glad that we got to connect. I will be back throughout the night. I'm going to get ready to bring in the fellas. But because I'm asking you to listen, I don't want it to be a bunch of men in front of the room telling women what they need to do. So I got a relationship and communication specialist, and she's gonna come and lead the conversation and ask the questions that are on your heart, probe the guys, hold them accountable, and push a little bit so we can get more of the truth, all right? So she's gonna represent for the ladies. So y'all give a round, give applause for Spicy Mary. Spicy, where you at? Hey, there she go.
Awesome. Hi, ladies. Sorry to keep you in anticipation, but the fellas are warmed up and they are ready to go. They're gonna give you so much valuable information and insight. Whew, you're gonna walk away feeling amazing and empowered. This event, I don't know how much Kazi already told you about me, but I'm a relationship and communication consultant. And this is an extremely valuable event because we need to be empowered with the tools and the skill set to be able to go out and navigate these relationships, because it is tough. And one thing that we hear constantly is that you ladies are being more challenged every day when it comes to dating, and we want to kind of eliminate some of that.